Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. So what you're looking at right now is the official version 1.0 description for Seele's Lycon in the night. And it's different. It is different from CBT3. So in this video, we're going to take a look at what has changed and how this affects Seele as a unit. And I've done the math comparing to the old CBT3 Lycon with the new Lycon that we have on the CN equivalent platform to our global Hoyo Labs, and it's being posted by the official Hoyoverse channel, official Star Rail channel. So let's take a look at how that has changed. Of course, I played CBT3, and we are going to get the information for the In the Night cone from pride1.gg. They have the information from CBT3, so we can use this to check the math behind the new Seele Lycon. Now, for those of you that don't know, Seele is definitely the top, one of the best single target units that you can get, and I'm a huge Seele simp. She's a top tier waifu from all the way in Honkai Impact 3rd, so I'm gonna definitely spend and wail for her. So let's take a look at how they have changed my waifu. All right, so Seele's In the Night new description is increase the wearer's crit rate by 18%, and while the wearer is in battle, for every 10 speed that exceeds 100, the damage of the wearer's basic attack and skill is increased by 6%. And the crit rate damage of their ultimate is increased by 12%. And this stacks up to 6 times. So right off the bat, we can see that the percentages have changed for the crit rate base, because the old one is 12% at Super Imposition 1, which is one base copy. It is now 18%. And the crit damage for the ultimate has increased from 8% base to 12%. However, big key change here. The effect now only stacks up to 6 times, whereas the old one stacked up to 8 times in CBT3. So how does this look at the very end for free-to-play players and the whale? So if we extract everything and do the math, as you can see, we put the level 1 here, we put the level 2 here, and then we extrapolate the level 5 a final value. The crit rate doesn't change, right? Because that's the base value. That does not change. What will change is the attack and skill damage, as well as the crit damage for the ultimate, because the total stack, maximum stack count has changed. So for Super Imposition level 1, you're gaining a 6% crit overall and an 8% crit damage on the ultimate overall. And also, this negative 20 speed means you need 20 less speed now on your Seele. This is actually huge. This is actually huge because Seele obviously gains a speed buff for herself already, and having that less stack in terms of the value means instead of 180 plus, you can now go with 160 plus and get the maximum value stack for Seele's Lycon. However, you do lose 12% attack and skill damage after you get the maximum amount of stacks. But of course, the trade-off is that the base stats and the requirement to activate Seele's Lycon is much lower, right, to reach that maximum stack. Now, for the whales, this does look worse. This does look slightly worse. The crit you still gain, so it's the 6% base crit, and of course you also get that 20 reduced speed requirement to get the max 6 stacks. So again, 160 instead of the 180 to activate the 8 stacks on the old cone. Now for the new cone, you're also losing 36% attack and skill damage. Now that's a pretty hefty loss, 36% attack and skill damage. So the attack is of course the basic attack, but not the attack value, but still that is a chunk. That is quite a chunky loss. And you're also losing 8% of your ultimate's crit damage. So actually for the whales, it's obviously slightly worse, but for the free-to-play players, this is looking better, especially the early gear requirement for Seele to activate the full stack value. So in my honest opinion, this has now become slightly more free-to-play friendly to get the full benefit of the Lycon. And for the whales, I mean, if you're gonna wail for Seele because she's your wife, you're gonna spend regardless, right? You're gonna get the maximum copy, but just know that you're missing a bunch in comparison. You're missing a bunch in comparison to CBT3. So all of the tier list, all of the DPS simulations, we need to keep that in mind as we're comparing the unit. Now, the biggest still takeaway from this is that everything is subject to change. We already know from the previous blog that some characters actually have had their units description and skills changed as well. Some units got better. For example, Wealth is very, very strong now. Himiko is better. And Abronia, even though she was tier 0, they really slightly nerfed her. I think she is still tier 0 at the moment, but not as broken as before. We can just infinitely spam the ultimate. However, I'm very glad they're doing some balancing, and I want to see all units to shine. I definitely want to see all units to shine. But let me know your thoughts about Seele's Lycom, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing because I'll be bringing you a lot of international news, as I can read Japanese as well as Chinese. So if they have exclusive information, then I will of course post them on my channel and try to make it clear. But yeah, Seele is still going to be top tier, and the Lycom is still best in slot for her at the moment, as we can see, even despite this 36% loss. So anyhow, it's TimaeuSS here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye now.